I don't think he's an idiot.
No, he's an idiot. He's the least intelligent Batman we've ever had.
That's not true.
So my high, low, Buffalo. My high is we just did the Batman with the patrons, and I was reminded about how great that movie is.
6 out of 10, right?
9. Flip it around, baby. So I just wanted to talk about, let's talk about this more in depth. You've now seen the 2 most important Batman movies of all time. Now in the last month, you've seen them both. Always,
yes.
Whenever we talked the Batman or the Dark Knight, you'd always be like, oh, I think I like this movie, but it's been so long since I've seen it. You don't have that excuse anymore. Let's go in depth. What's the deal? What do you think of the Batman? What do you think about the Dark Knight?
Well, we reviewed the Dark Knight already.
I know. So we could re-review the Batman real quick.
Sure.
9 out of 10?
Yeah, 9 out of 10. Yeah, probably. It's still hard for me to pick which one I like more.
Okay.
Because there are problems with the Dark Knight that I have that I don't have the Batman, but there are things that are better in the Dark Knight than there are in the Batman. The script in the Dark Knight is just better.
Yep.
It's a little tighter. The villain is better.
Yep.
The
villains are better.
Yeah. But I think Batman is better in the Batman, and the action is obviously
way better.
Someone pointed this out. I said I didn't like the action in the Dark Knight. Wrong. I didn't like the fight scenes in the Dark Knight. The action isn't bad.
Oh, with the car chase,
and the helicopter being brought down and stuff like that. So thank you for pointing that out. Wrong.
You don't like the hand-to-hand combat.
The hand-to-hand combat and Batman fighting, it was bad.
But the hand-to-hand combat in the Batman is excellent.
It's good. It's better.
The recreation of the War for the Planet of the Apes scene is
so good.
It's awesome. It's one of my favorite Batman scenes ever.
Yeah, it's really good.
And I like, here's something I really like about Pattinson. He is really strong. And even though he's got this like slimmer, slender build than Batman's of past, because he's definitely smaller than Affleck, and I think he's smaller than Bale. But it's they have multiple scenes that tell you how strong he is. He punches Gordon and he's like, you could have pulled that punch. And he's like, I did. But then there's this great scene where he breaks into the club in his like worker outfit. And he double punches this guy and he just turns around because he knows he's knocked him out.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was sick.
Awesome.
Yeah. And obviously, I'm not as big of a fan on the Dark Knight ending. I don't think I have the problem with the Batman, but you've pointed out some problems with the Batman's ending.
I think the Batman ending is disastrous. I was saying this to our patrons on the call, where, I give that movie a 9 out of 10, even if it ends where I want it to be. But it's kind of slow in points. There's some points where it loses me, but I don't have a concrete, this is wrong with this movie and that's why it's a 9 out of 10 until that ending. That ending, absolutely, it goes on for too long. The Catwoman stuff, totally unnecessary.
Yeah, you want it to end with him leading them out of the water or the helicopter, him looking up scene. But
either of those is a better ending.
Them doing the motorcycle and going their separate ways and all that afterwards is a little too much. I totally see that.
Yeah.
That's fine.
And it makes the movie drag so much more because that scene is 10 minutes.
Yeah, we're already 3 hours. Come on.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like both. I like both a lot. I'm not ready to say what my favorite Batman movie is of all time. I'd still say Under the Red Hood.
The Batman or the Penguin? What's the better project? Because I still go the Penguin.
I think the Penguin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shall we hop into this?
Well, I had one more thing about the Batman.
Oh, yeah. Talk to me. Let's go.
In the Batman, you continue to say that he's not a detective.
No.
You said that.
I continue to say he is a bad detective. Thank you very much. Huge difference. He is doing detective work. And everything until Catwoman gets involved, he's good at his job. Thumb drive. He figures all that out. He knows he lies still. He knows the little carpet tool, the blood, and he points to it, and that's why the girl takes the picture of it. All of that is great and phenomenal, so he's good. And I like it. He's good until Catwoman gets involved, and then he's a disastrous detective. Just everything he does after that, he's 10 steps behind. When before then, he was ahead of the curve, it felt like. But he doesn't figure out the Riddler's plan, and the Riddler's like, oh, you're not as smart as I thought you were. That all bothered me on first and second watch. Because I was like, whoa, you made Batman
what
a fucking idiot.
What does he mess up or not get that he should have? Other than La Rata.
The entire El Rata, he's getting it wrong constantly. You are El Rata, and then he obviously figures out the the computer or whatever, but all of that. He figures out too late that he's gonna kill Bruce Wayne, so that gets Alfred blown up. The whole El Rata Alada, he thinks it's the Penguin. Obviously, it's not the Penguin. Then he finally thinks it's Falcone after he's told point blank it's Falcone. He doesn't detective that. Just Catwoman is about to kill this guy, and then they've got the voice message. And he hears the voice message. That's how he finds out Catwoman did all that. Catwoman captured the guy with the broken nose.
That's just the El Rata thing still.
I know, but that's all. He gets everything about El Rata wrong. He gets every single part of it wrong. And then he goes to the end. And then at the end, he doesn't know what bring him into the light means. And then the whole time, the Riddler was right fucking there. The Riddler is 10 steps ahead of him the entire movie, except in that first scene. That's the problem I had. Now, I excused this, however many months ago when the Penguin came out, because I rewatched the Batman and I was like, it's a 9 out of 10, and I'm excusing all these problems. He's still an idiot, and he's still 10 steps behind the Riddler, but it's something I accept because it's Batman Year 2.
I don't think he's an idiot.
No, he's an idiot. He's the least intelligent Batman we've ever had.
That's not true.
Based on his interactions with his villains, yes it is.
I don't agree with that at all. Just because he's figuring things out in the first scene doesn't mean he's not behind.
Okay, sure. So he's behind then.
But to solve a mystery, you have to be behind.
Yeah, but he doesn't solve it, and he gets Gotham blown to smithereens.
Okay, that's the second point that I'm going to get to.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean he's not a good detective. Just because he doesn't do it fast enough for you?
Yes. And he doesn't do it well enough for me. I just feel like constantly.
So you need Batman to be good enough at certain things.
Hold on. I did in this moment, and then I rewatched it and I accepted it. I was like, oh, it's fine that he's an idiot. I still hold the point that he's an idiot. And I know that you haven't watched this very much as I have, because it's one of my favorite scenes in the movie, even though it was deleted. The Barry Keoghan Joker scene, he's got no idea where he's at. Where he gives the files and he's like, I thought you'd be curious, and he's so behind, and Barry Keoghan even says, you're usually so on top of this, but this guy's really stumped you, huh?
Well, if you're gonna have a Batman villain go toe to toe with Batman in intellect, it would be the Riddler.
But it pisses me off that it pissed me off, because again, I love this movie now. I've admitted that I was wrong, but for years I was wrong since I saw this movie in 2022. But when this movie came out, my big thing was I was so pissed off about was everybody was like, finally, we have Batman and he's a detective. Finally, we've been waiting a million years for this. And I'm like, yeah, but he sucks as a detective. He's such a bad detective. There were great detective movies where the detective figures everything out and saves the day. And fucking the Batman does not. And the Batman, right? Batman, to me, I like Batman when he's on top of everything. I like Batman when he's the GOAT. And that's
how is Batman on top of things in The Dark Knight? Joker does whatever the frick he wants. He blows up a hospital. He does the thing with the boats. He gets Harvey.
I have made this clear. That the Batman is very much my positive Man of Steel. I do not think The Dark Knight is a good portrayal of Batman as a character, but it is such a phenomenally well-written movie. I have excused that, and if there's any character that you can do that with, it's The Dark Knight. But you've already done that with The Dark Knight, so now that you also have this gritty, realistic world, that's not realistic, I get it's stylized and everything like that in the Batman, but you have this, it's another non-fantastical Batman, and you're doing this again, and the whole selling point is finally we have Batman being a detective, and he's, in my opinion, a shitty detective for an hour and a half of this 3-hour movie. Yeah, that's going to bother me. And now it no longer bothers me. It did bother me, now it doesn't.
Yeah, but you said we have multiple other Batmans where they are on top of things. If we're not counting The Dark Knight, which one?
Yes. The Dark Knight, he literally goes to China and gets Lau for Gordon and Harvey Dent. In The Dark Knight, it's a stupid scene, but he does the whole detective thing of the fucking gun, which is stupid, and I get that the Joker planted that, and that's also stupid, but he does that. He goes and obviously saves Harvey, meaning to save Rachel.
Right, didn't figure that out.
Mm-hmm. But again,
So I'm asking, what Batmans were you referring to? You were referring to The Dark Knight Batman? Or not? As being a better Batman in that sense.
Affleck. It's much more Affleck. But Affleck is more of the, other than killing people, is much more of the traditional Batman that I want. He's doing the detective work at Lex's.
I'm not going to be able to remember Batman v Superman as much.
He then goes and, he tries to get the rock, the kryptonite from Lex in the truck. And he's about to do it, and then Superman steps in, stops him, totals the Batmobile. Then he goes to LexCorp himself, breaks in, gets the kryptonite, has done all the research on Superman. Then he goes out and straight up beats Superman in a fight for 8 minutes. And then he, the Martha scene happens, which is terrible. And then goes out and...
But so, I feel like you can make the same argument with Batman v Superman, where he doesn't really stop Lex from doing anything that Lex wanted him to do. He lets Lex manipulate him into beating Batman, into fighting Superman.
Sure. Again, you are arguing to me a point that I've already conceded. Like, it's tough because it's like these, I'm trying to rationalize with myself a year ago. You know what I'm saying? And frankly, years ago, right? Like, when I saw the Batman and felt this way about the Batman is before we had started, a year before we started the podcast.
I'm not talking about your point a year ago. You made a point this episode that he's a bad detective.
Yeah. Okay.
And you made the point this episode that there are other Batmans that are better.
It bothered me then, and it no longer bothers me now. Now you're making the points that there are other Batmen that are bad detectives, and
I'm also making the point that I don't think he's a bad detective. I think I will agree with you on this point. I think the Batman suffers potentially from the same problem that, I think this is from the Big Bang Theory, that Indiana Jones suffers from, that if you take Indiana Jones out of the movie, nothing changes.
For the Batman.
Right. The only thing that I think he changes is the end, where he stops the electricity from killing the people in the water and then he leads them out. But before that, I think he saves Catwoman one time.
Yeah.
But everything that the Riddler wants to happens.
Yes.
Right? So if you're using that argument that makes him a bad detective because he didn't stop anything, sure. Yeah. But he solves, I was watching the movie, I made a list of 10 to 15 things that he just solves like this, that we just I don't think we've ever gotten in another Batman movie like that.
Sure.
So that's why I'm saying he's good. He looks at the thing that does the carpet, and he's like, it'll match this imprint in this floor. Go check it.
Absolutely.
All the thumb drives.
But he doesn't know that it's a carpet tool, and the policeman helps him out with that, and then that makes him realize that.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm not saying he doesn't mess up anything. La Rada, he messes up. El Rada, for sure. But there has not been another time where he walks into the, you're saying you want him to do the man, and when he walks in a room, to me, he's the man. He starts solving stuff that other people just could not solve. He walks in and says he was alive when they did this, because of something on his fingers. Immediately starts solving stuff. And he's doing that the whole movie. He's using facial recognition when Catwoman is in there, and he's saying, oh, someone mentions somebody. He's like, oh, he's a drop stealer on this side of the town. He just knows all this stuff.
And he does the cipher thing where he's only do the key.
Yeah, with Alfred, and then solves that.
Yeah, drive and this and that. Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. I don't feel like we've gotten that level. I agree with you that it may suffer from the Indiana Jones problem, where yes, he did not stop the Riddler, technically. He did not solve it fast enough for him to do that. But he did solve a lot of stuff in that movie, and did a lot of detective work with Catwoman and facial recognition and solving of clues and solving of... He finds the thing in the tire. He finds the thumb drive. He suggests that the thumb be used. He suggests them check the murder weapon. He's solving stuff constantly in that movie. But I will give you that he does not stop Riddler. Mm-hmm. He does not stop the ocean walls from coming in.
Yep.